YIT rates. For travel agents with clients who love Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, the events are taking shape and the excitement level has reached a fever pitch. Donald Wood, Breaking News senior writer. Universal Orlando Resort has added 2 event dates to Halloween Horror Nights 2018 due to popular demand, giving guests more chances to brave the most intense event in history, featuring more haunted houses than ever before. The added dates, Wednesday, September 19th and Wednesday, September 26th, make this year's event the longest in history, with a total of 36 nights. Universal also revealed details about the final haunted house that will be featured at Halloween Horror Nights 2018: Scary Tales, Deadly Ever After. The Twisted Minds of Universal Orlando's entertainment team are bringing back a fan favorite with a whole new twist in Scary Tales, Deadly Ever After. Guests will encounter the Wicked Witch of the West, who has seized control of the fairy tale realm and is tormenting treasured storybook characters in hideous and cruel alternate storylines. As guests venture through this nightmarish bedtime story, they'll see familiar characters now turned evil, including Hansel and Gretel salivating for human flesh, a splattered Humpty Dumpty and more. Halloween Horror Nights 2018 will run for a record-breaking 36 select nights from September 14th to November 3rd and feature the most haunted houses in event history. Cinematic greats, slasher films, cult classics and original nightmares inspired by the past will come to life as guests face 10 disturbingly real haunted houses, 5 sinister scare zones and more. See below for the full lineup of experiences at this year's event. Due to the event's popularity, tickets for this year's highly anticipated Halloween Horror Nights should be purchased in advance. Haunted houses, Stranger Things. Halloween Horror Nights takes you deep inside the twisted world of Stranger Things. From a vile, secret lab to the terrifying void to the monstrous reality of the Upside Down, you try to escape, but the Demogorgon is moving closer. Poltergeist restless spirits have overrun the infamous house atop a cemetery, and they're drawn to your light. You'll be lured up into the house by the TV's glowing whisper and cross into the light. Enter a surreal landscape, where your brief sense of wonder will soon shift to horror as you're menaced by the beast. Don't get lost in the light. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers has returned in an all-new house. The infamous Michael Myers has escaped, and he's out for blood. Wherever you turn, he's moving in for the kill, till your heart is screaming out of your chest. Your only hope is Dr. Loomis, Myers' fire-scarred former psychiatrist, but will he get there in time? This masked maniac is unstoppable, and there's nowhere to hide. Horrors of Blumhouse. The haunted minds behind Happy Death Day and The First Purge have spawned another horror house. Your shock shifts to alarm as you go from a campy thriller to a brutal world. It's the last day of the rest of your life as you witness a college student try to break a murderous cycle. Then enter the testing ground for a barbaric experiment, where all crime is legal for 12 hours. Will you live to see tomorrow? Trick or treat. It's trick or treat time. In this maze you have play by the rules or pay the ultimate price. Your dread will grow as Sam, the vengeful trick-or-treater, waits for the moment he can treat rule breakers to his favorite Halloween surprises, razor lollipops and sweet revenge. As you find your way through the 5 twisted stories of Trick or Treat, you'll recoil in terror when you witness the fate of those who didn't honor the tradition. Don't be caught dead breaking the rules. Dead exposure. Patient Zeroth world doesn't get any darker. The planet has been infected with the ultimate pandemic. A ghoulish biological outbreak is turning swaths of humanity into a plague of vicious, swarming zombies. In a flash, you're lost in darkness, but the zombies can still see you, and soon your growing unease will turn to screams and despair. If you're not already afraid of the dark, you'll be. Carnival Graveyard, rust and pieces. The caramel-coated carnivals of yesteryear have long died, but something sinister has festered within the decay, waiting to torment trespassers. Enter a dilapidated salvage yard, a maze of rides, games and carnival parts tainted with rust and blood. Gleefully vicious performers stalk you from the shadows as your panic rises. You'll be overwhelmed with disgust and terror as you encounter gory games aplenty, brutal automatons that ensnare you in a grotesque tunnel of love. You're in for a showstopper. Slaughter Cinemates showtime at the local drive-in, where you don't just catch a movie, the movie catches you. Fear flickers on the screen, filling you with a mixture of dread and delight. As each 80s B-movie screams to life, you'll shriek with terror as you try to escape werewolf bikers, alien cannibals and a ravenous swamp yeti. When the credits roll, heads roll, seeds of extinction. Humanity is extinct, wiped out by a cataclysmic meteor. In its wake, something monstrous has taken root. You'll be unnerved by familiar sights that have been overtaken by invasive vegetation. But soon your horror will ripen as you realize these plants are predatory, and you're easy pickings. Fear is fertile in this gruesome garden. Scary tales, deadly ever after. The realm of the fairies was once peaceful, but the Wicked Witch of the West has seized control and afflicted the land with a dreadful curse, twisting beloved fairy tales beyond recognition. You'll shudder as you discover the horrific new reality of the stories you thought you knew. There are no fairy tale endings here. Scare Zones: Revenge of Chucky. Chucky, the world's deadliest doll, is back for more after 30 years of mayhem. Chucky has brought a toy fair to gruesome life on the streets of Hollywood and twisted your favorite childhood toys into nightmares. You'll be dying to play. Killer clowns from outer space. An interstellar circus tent has landed and a madcap invasion has begun on South Street. Step right up to the big top, where the sweet smell of cotton candy delights you. You soon realize this grotesque treat is not spun with sugar but from victims like you. Otherworldly clowns giggle madly as they zap people into cotton candy pods with ray guns, and devour every grisly strand. At this circus of fear, the joke's always on you. Vamp 85, New Year's Eve. It's December 31st, 1984. As the ball drops in New York City, this New Year's Eve bash is about to bite. Literally. A blood-sucking DJ counts down the biggest hits of the 80s as fanged punks, big-haired bloodsuckers and lace-gloved vampires hunt down partygoers. The howl of synthesizers masks your growing screams. When this year ends, so will you. Twisted tradition and ancient evil has been reawakened in Central Park and transformed Halloween into an abomination. Vines coil like vipers around iron fences. Rotting pumpkins molder upon the cursed ground. You're horrified to discover the larger ones hold human victims whose decayed flesh has mingled with pumpkin guts. You cringe in horror, but the worst is yet to come. Beings of blood and vine seek out human sacrifices. And you're ripe for the taking. The Harvest on Old Barn is the setting of every kind of horror, its walls decorated with objects from each house. Pose at this foreboding photo op along the Avenue of the Stars, but be wary. This barn is not as abandoned as it seems. Foul creatures lurk between the hay bales, ready for a harvest of flesh. Will you survive the reaping? Live show, Academy of Villains, cyberpunk with a wicked mix of dance, acrobatics and theatrics. Academy of Villains is back with an all-new performance. Prepare for maximum overload in this test of humanity versus technology. Set in a dark and distant city of the future, Academy of Villains hack into a world of pounding synths and neon lights. For more information, reach out to your local travel agent. Source: Universal Orlando Press Release.